My name's Sam Layton. I'm the executive chef at Tom&Sawyer.
My name is Kristen Matthews. I am the president and the co-founder at Tom&Sawyer and the fur mama to Sawyer the Yorkie Poo.
I'm Hannah Godfrey. I'm the in-house animal nutritionist for Tom&Sawyer.
So we are here to answer your most burning questions about Tom&Sawyer and all of the wonderful meals at Wren's Pets. What inspires you to create this brand of pet food? Well, if you haven't guessed already, it's Sawyer, my 10-pound Yorkie Poo. When we brought him home in 2014, we struggled to try to find the right food for him. He didn't want to eat kibble. We played games with him. You know, you give me the pickiest pet story and I will top you 10 times over. So what did I do? I turned to raw. Unfortunately, back in 2014, raw was not what it is today, and he got very sick. So once we ruled out raw, we ruled out kibble, and I started looking at the ingredients that belonged in all of these packages and said, what is this stuff? I don't know what it means, and started doing some investigation. What uncovered from the packages really surprised me, and I promised Sawyer that I would never feed this to him again. So I set out finding a team of chef experts, animal nutrition experts, veterinary experts, and brought together all of these people to create the highest quality pet food possible. And gently cooking the pet food makes it a lot safer for the home. I wanted the company to be built on transparency, on quality, and on authenticity. I wanted you to feel that you were giving your pet something that you would safely consume yourself, and that's because you actually can. Back in 2015, this type of food didn't exist, so I actually created it for my pet, but now all of your pets can enjoy it too.
Where is your food made and sourced? Well, the best meals come from the great ingredients. So it's my job as the executive chef here to make sure that all the ingredients we use are not just good enough for your pet, but good enough for their humans too. So that starts with our meats, which are all humanely raised, antibiotic and hormone-free, right up to our vegetables, which are locally sourced and non-GMO. So we want to make sure that anything that we're serving here, I would serve with the same integrity that I would serve to you in a restaurant. Even the suppliers, the same suppliers I've been using for the past 10 years in this industry that I would serve to you and your friends and family, I'm now serving with those same suppliers to your pet family as well. That's very important for us to meet that standard. What is good for us is good for our pets. And all those ingredients actually come together right here in our production kitchen in Toronto. This is where everything is gently cooked. That's really important. And all of our meals here are made by cooks and trained chefs like myself with restaurant experience. Everything is made by hand. There's no outsourcing to third parties. We don't cut any corners here. We believe that by using quality ingredients and well-trained cooks, you're going to get the best meal for your pet.
Your next burning question is, what's the best way to transition a pet onto Tom&Sawyer? We'll hand that one over to the in-house animal nutritionist, Anna Godfrey.
Thanks, Kristen. So of course, when transitioning our pets to a new food, we want to do it gradually and slowly so that it's safe and beneficial for the pet. The first step to transitioning your pet to a Tom&Sawyer meal would be choosing the correct meal. So we work really hard to ensure that we have a variety of meals available for different pets with different issues. For example, if your pet really enjoys beef but they need a low-fat diet, we would recommend our low-fat beef and broccoli meal. The next step in transitioning your pet to Tom&Sawyer would be going through a very slow transition period. Typically, we recommend starting with a 7-day transition. So you would start with 75% of the old diet, 25% of your new Tom&Sawyer meal. Work with this for a few days, and then move on to 50-50 until eventually you can feed 100%. Every pet's different, right? And that's like our whole point of Tom&Sawyer. So when you start with that 7-day transition, keep an eye on your pet, how they're feeling, their energy levels, especially their poop, because that's important to monitor with the transition. If you notice some slightly more runny poops, you might want to slow down that transition a little more, but typically we say a 7-day period is best for our pets. That said, if you're transitioning from a raw food to our gently cooked food, we want to make sure that you're feeding those separately, as that can cause gastrointestinal upset. But with a kibble or a canned food, you can just put our food on top and mix it in for a smooth transition.
Yeah, and I think that's often one of the misconceptions is that if there's any sort of loose stools or runny stools, that the food's just not good for the pet, but it just has to do with that gut microbiome and how their body adjusts, right?
Exactly.
Hannah, the next question's for you again. How do you ensure that your diets are nutritionally balanced for pets?
Yes,
do you go to school for that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shockingly, I do. So we have a full research and development team that I work with. So it includes Chef Sam here, but also animal nutrition and vet experts.
And Sawyer.
And Sawyer, of course,
Right,
the most important part. So we always start with ingredients first. We want to make sure that we have a strong supplier, high quality ingredients to put into our meals. And then using that base foundation, we move on to balancing your meal. So that's where I come in. We try to choose a range of different styles of meals. So for example, we have our low fat, but we also have normal proteins for any like renal support or aging, for seniors. We have certain milestones that we want to hit when we're balancing a diet for that to ensure that they're complete and balanced, but can also be nutritionally beneficial for those kind of conditions. We then go into our palatability testing to ensure that they're tasty as well to our pets, and that's Sawyer's main role. He's very good at it. And then after that, we would ensure that we're doing regular lab testing on our meals to make sure that we're hitting measures that we want to see with the nutrients. So if we're wanting a low fat, we would make sure that our fat content is consistently below that threshold. For us, we typically range below 20 to 25 grams per 1,000 kcal. So we will always continuously do lab testing to ensure that they're meeting those requirements.
How much of that is food ingredients, and then how much of that is actually supplementation to get everything into that proper balance?
Yeah, so that's where Chef Sam comes in handy, because she chooses the best quality, high nutrient foods or ingredients. From those, we can usually balance the diet up to like 97%. So supplements are really only used to just put us just a little bit over and make sure everything is complete and balanced. They typically only make up about 2% of our meals. So we actually end up getting most of our nutrients from the fresh ingredients that we're using.
Yeah, and that's what makes Tom and Sawyer very unique, because this is a cooked diet, and yet most of the nutrition is coming from really high quality ingredients. All right, so final question. How often does Sawyer help with developing new recipes? Well, he was there from day one, so he created the very first line that we had. And then in July 2021, we launched the brand new line that you see here. So it's almost a year now since we've had this line going on. We separated between the regular and the low fat. Sawyer is in his golden years now, and as many Yorkies and older dogs have problems with, he does have needs for low fat. He does have certain other senior needs, renal needs. So from a low fat perspective, everything over here on the low fat line, Sawyer was definitely key in making sure that it met those type of needs. And then we are so close to launching a revised Fisherman's Best Friend, which is a renal support and a senior support. And Hannah went to town on this one. It's also urinary care, and it's, I don't know what else it does. It's insane how many things this is going to do. Have I missed something?
I think that sums it up.
Like joint care and all that sort of stuff. So the reason that one even came into R&D is as soon as Sawyer's veterinarian says, well, Sawyer could use, then this creates a new recipe. So how involved is Sawyer in creating new recipes? He is pivotal in it. And I think the little dude is somewhere. I think he was taking a nap earlier.
Got a bit of a kangaroo recipe for him here.
This is his number one. Kangaroo was developed to deal with low fat needs. It is a novel protein. It has very few ingredients. So, dealing with elimination diets, all that type of stuff, it hits all the things. This is like a week of food for Sawyer, so we're going to make sure he doesn't get going too crazy on that. But the little man who is the star of this business is Sawyer. Here he is, and we call this the Tom and Sawyer happy dance. Your dog will do this too when they start eating Tom and Sawyer.
I think he knows.
And he's been eating this since 2015 and does not hesitate. Any meal, any time, and he's happier, healthier, and will live a longer life.